Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And some of the viewers want to make a video on climber roses, particularly thornless climber roses. So climber roses are a vigorous growing rose variety. They can grow 8 feet or more. That is known as climber rose. And there is no separate classification of a climber rose like hybrid tea or floribunda or grandiflora or polyantha. So any of the rose that is having potential to grow in excess of 8 feet height or more, that is called a climber rose. So climber rose are basically very variety of roses from all the groups, Floribunda, hybrid tea or grandiflora. And roses are not actually a wine. So these roses we have to trend it as a climber. Training means we have to support it like a climber. That natural climber vegetation, they can grow and cling to a structure or any support, but roses are not a true climber, so we have to tie it to a structure or fence or pergolas to make it look like a climber. So why we need a climber in first place? Because climber roses have many lateral branches and being a vigorous growing variety, so that flower volume is very heavy, big, and looks very beautiful. So one of the reason is that more flowering output from a particular rose. So some are natural growing variety that is growing in excess of 8 feet. Some of the roses in particular temperature and climate zone, they can grow very vigorously and performing as a climber roses. These are naturally zone 10 or above or around zone 9, that where sunlight availability is more during growing condition, that roses can grow. Many roses, hybrid tea or floribunda or shrub roses, they can grow as a climber rose. But this situation is not very likely and visible to all the roses in cold climate condition, in lower temperature zones. But in zone 10 and 11, uh, in most places of our countries, many roses, shrub roses are growing like a climber. So to grow as a climber, that first condition is they should be grow more than 8 feet height and a vigorous growing variety of any class of roses that can be called as a climber rose. So many roses, unknown roses are here. They are growing in excess of 8 feet and they can grow from a cutting very easily, and mostly known as desi roses, and most of the desi roses are grown as a climber. So first one is that red variety is sold here as a desi rose, but that is a grass and taplet rose, and very fragrant, and it can be grown as a shrub or a short climber. So some of the climber are very big, vigorous. Mostly they are wild roses or species roses like Rosa banksia. That is most world's largest rose is Rosa banksia white variety that has spread up to 8 hectare in USA. So they are wild species roses that can grow very vigorous and big size. In our country, that Himalayan musk rose we have seen in mountain region. They can grow very large bush, and they can grow atop a tree also. So in some of the video I have shown these roses as a climber roses. So now the topic is thornless climber roses. So thornless is a very less rose, but a less thorny rose is some of the this one like Mary Delaney. Very less thorns, almost negligible, and it is growing very well in our places. And only negative is that flower lasting not very long, but it is a very beautiful and one of a kind bloom form. uh, you can see here, and it is almost a thornless from that this is the flower of Mary Delaney. It was earlier known as Mortimer Sackler, but now it is known as Mary Delaney, and it is a David Austin rose and good variety to be. And this rose is a Woollerton Old Hall, and it is sold as a climber rose by David Austin, and it has less thorny and almost negligible in upper portion of the stem, and they are less thorny and very beautiful and fragrant variety. And look at the bloom, how beautiful it is, and it is a climber rose from David Austin. You can grow it as a thornless climber rose, and this is actually a hybrid tea rose. uh, it is a Colner flora or Flora colonia rose. It is bred by Cordes, but you can see I have wrapped it around a structure and still growing. It is more than 8-10 feet height, and I have seen it in a Japanese garden that it is being pillared around as a climber. So this is very much can be grown as a climber, and this is one of the hot weather bloom. Cold weather bloom is much beautiful and better. And this one is Lady Banksia rose. This is a yellow variety, and it can easily grow up to 40, 45, 50 feet if condition are ideal. And you can see it is a completely thornless rose, and it is blooming only once in a year. So it is not having a repeat bloom, but I have to see it in our weather condition whether this flower. And this is the lady banksia white variety, and it is a very vigorous growing variety. It is in 4-inch pot, but still I can see it is growing leaps and bounds about 8 feet in 4-inch pot. So it is a very hardy, very vigorous. I have to repot it as early as possible to a bigger container, and it is a white variety. That yellow variety is not having any fragrance, but this white variety is having some fragrance, and you will get it. World's largest rose bush is spread in 8-hectare area, and this is another David Austin shrub rose, and it is growing very vigorous in my place in excess of 8 to 10 feet easily, and it has very less thorns, and it can be also grown as a climber rose. So many roses having a potential to grow as a climber in our zone 10 and zone 11 climate, and this is a bloom of Charles Darwin. And another hybrid tea rose, basically that is a old rose era, that is end of the 19th century rose, that is a very big bloom form, and I am showing it here. It is known as Paul neuron. It is a completely thornless rose, and I have seen this rose growing in many places as a climber rose, like in California or some zone 9, 10 or 11 climate. And this is very fragrant, very big blooms, and it is surviving very well in our 40 plus degree temperature here. So this is another rose that can be grown as a climber rose. So any rose you find it growing well in your place, if you want that rose as a climber, kindly trend it and you will get a beautiful climber in your place. That's all friend for today. Thank you.